BTS gave Jimin new life. Before BTS, Jimin faced deep struggles fans didn't know. In the dazzling world of global entertainment, where perfection is the currency and idols are expected to be flawless statues of success, Park Jimin stands as a beautiful, heartbreaking contradiction. To the world, he is the stage genius, the ethereal dancer who moves with the fluidity of water and the precision of a blade. He is the man who made history as the first South Korean soloist to debut at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. But if you look closely, past the blinding sequins and the deafening cheers of the stadium, you will find a story that is not about glory. You will find a human documentary of a young man who spent years at war with his own reflection, a perfectionist who had to break himself apart 1,000 times just to learn how to stand whole. The narrative of Jimin does not begin with applause. It begins with the terrifying silence of uncertainty. Born in Busan, he was a child of immense promise, the top student in the modern dance department at his high school. Teachers and peers looked at him with awe, seeing a future principal dancer in the making. But Jimin chose to leave that safe, prestigious path behind. He packed his bags and moved to Seoul, chasing a dream that offered no guarantees. When he arrived at Big Hit Entertainment, the reality of the idol industry hit him with the force of a physical blow. He was the last member to join the lineup, entering a group that had already formed tight bonds and established roles. He was the outsider. While he was a master of contemporary dance, the sharp, aggressive hip-hop style required for the group was a foreign language to his body. He stumbled. He lagged. Industry sources and the members themselves have confirmed that Jimin was on the verge of being cut from the debut team multiple times. Some accounts suggest as many as 8 times. Imagine the psychological weight on a teenager living with his bags half-packed, waking up every morning wondering if this would be the day he was sent home a failure. He walked on thin ice for months, driven by a desperate fear of disappointment. He wasn't fighting for fame. He was fighting for survival. This fear birthed a work ethic that bordered on self-destruction. In the early days, Jimin became known as the practice bug. While the rest of the world slept, he waged a solitary battle in the practice room. He would rehearse until 3 or 4 in the morning, sleep for barely 2 hours on the studio floor, and then wake up to go to school. He was driven by a voice in his head that told him he wasn't good enough, that he had to work twice as hard just to be considered average. He sacrificed his youth, his sleep, and his health to close the gap between who he was and who he needed to be. Even after BTS debuted, the demons of insecurity did not vanish. They simply changed shape. The pressure to maintain the idol image took a severe toll on his relationship with his own body. In past interviews and the group's Wings concept book, Jimin bravely opened up about a dark period where he struggled with severe body image issues. He confessed to starving himself, going days with barely any food, and fainting during rehearsals because he believed he needed to look a certain way to be loved. He looked in the mirror and saw only flaws where the world saw beauty. It was a silent, punishing war he waged against himself, fueled by the desperate need to be perfect for the fans. For years, Jimin tied his entire self-worth to his performance. If his voice cracked slightly during a concert, or if he missed a step by a fraction of a second, he would be found backstage in tears, devastated by what he perceived as a catastrophe. In the documentary series Burn the Stage, cameras captured these raw moments. Jimin huddled in a corner, head in his hands, unable to forgive himself for a mistake no one else noticed. It is a heartbreaking sight to see someone so loved by millions be so unable to love himself. The year 2018 marked a turning point, a year of massive global success that coincided with deep internal darkness. In the group's memoir Beyond the Story, Jimin revealed that he grappled with inexplicable depression during this time. He described isolating himself in a small room, wrestling with a sense of emptiness and asking, "Is this happiness?" He had achieved everything he set out to do, Yet he felt like he was losing himself. The loneliness of the hotel room became louder than the roar of the crowd. He realized that in becoming an idol, he had lost the simple joys of being human. However, the true strength of Park Jimin lies not in his ability to endure pain, but in his courage to transform it. He began to lean on his members, who acted as his emotional anchor. He started to realize that his vulnerability was not a weakness. This shift in perspective culminated in his first self-composed song, Promise. The track was not a commercial pop anthem. It was a lullaby to himself. In the lyrics, he urged himself to stop suffering and to be his own light. It was a public declaration of self-kindness from a man who had spent years being his own harshest critic. Fans adore Jimin not just because he is a superstar, but because he is the angel of BTS. Despite his own internal struggles, he is consistently the first to run to a crying member. He is the one who offers a hug, a listening ear, or a warm smile. He channels his own pain into empathy for others. His philanthropy reflects this heart. Verified reports confirm he has quietly donated large sums to education departments in his hometown of Busan, ensuring that students from low-income families have the opportunities he fought so hard to create for himself. His recent solo success, including the historic achievement of Like Crazy, topping the Billboard charts, is a vindication. It is the harvest of a seed planted in rocky soil. But for Jimin, the numbers seem to matter less than the connection. In his solo album Face, he confronted his loneliness and his shadows head-on, proving that he no longer needs to hide his scars to be beautiful. Jimin's journey teaches us a profound lesson about the human condition. It teaches us that you can be the most beautiful person in the room and still feel broken inside. It teaches us that perfection is a myth, and that true strength is found in the gentle act of forgiving yourself. He showed the world that it is okay to fall, it is okay to cry, and it is okay to take a long time to learn how to love who you are. As we look at him today, standing confident and serene, we see more than an idol. We see a survivor. We see the boy who was almost sent home, the teenager who cried in the practice room, and the man who learned to embrace his own shadow. He is no longer running from the fear of not being enough. He is standing still, breathing, and existing as his own light. And in that quiet acceptance, he commands a respect that is deeper than fame. When the music fades and the lights go down, the world doesn't just applaud Park Jimin, it feels him. And that silent, emotional connection is the greatest masterpiece he ever created.